Okay, we're live again. I'm just
You got
waiting for Amy to come back in.
okay.
Sometimes you forget about the copyright stuff. I know I do. So what I failed to remember is that when you use certain things, you have to actually give, the copyright thing. Otherwise, it'll silence you. And so I was getting inbox messages from viewers because they couldn't hear it because it was silenced because of
Oh, wow.
the copyright. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the good thing is folks were tuned in, and so they were actually able to let us know. So we are live again, you guys.
Thank
Um,
you, audience.
right. So let me go ahead and just yeah. Now I know why I wasn't like seeing folks. Um, so let me go back to yeah. There we are. All right. Okay, you guys. I am so sorry about my technically challenged self. But we're going to kind of pick up where we left off. And so we were just given an overview of what had taken place with the county board of supervisor. We're not going to start at the beginning. So now we're going to kind of fast track to what took place today. Um, so today we went to the county board of supervisor meeting in order to support Camille because there was an investigation that took place. So there had been an investigation that was launched against Camille. And Tommy, you were telling us about that. Can you go ahead and pick up from there?
The investigation of Camille Zapata was um, launched because she published an article on Medium, which is
Mhm.
a social media website. And the article was titled, "My Testimony While Fighting for Equal Pay for Equal Work." And in that article, she talked about what she was experiencing, the
Mhm.
challenges, the slings, the arrows, the barbs, the fact that people were dragging her through the mud for having the temerity to fight for equal pay for equal work. And because she published that article, Tom Petty launched an investigation against her.
Mhm.
And that now the article was published in February.
Mhm.
And from that point all the way through almost the end of May,
Mhm.
she was being subjected to just atrocious behavior.
But she was also silenced. And so, because there was an investigation that was actually pending against her, she was actually silenced. And so, Amy, I see you nodding your head. Can you just kind of speak to that? You're on mute, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Because there was an investigation pending against her, she wasn't allowed to say anything about what was happening to her, about the treatment that she had had, or the process of the investigation, or even what was being investigated. She had to remain silent.
Mhm.
Uh, and and her only recourse was to go through the county HR to talk about the things that had been happening to her during this time. She couldn't speak to friends or family or post anything on social media. You are
Mhm.
right in using those words that she was silenced
She was
because of
silent.
this process. And then in April, a year ago,
Mhm.
Tom
Mhm.
Patty's investigation.
Wait, I want to say something really quick, Amy. Hold,
Yeah.
don't lose your thought. So Camille challenged Power in regard to get equal pay. Power retaliated by silencing Camille.
Yep.
Power knew how to use the system and silenced her by launching an investigation of harassment. So he said that he was being harassed by her. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so the only recourse that she had was to go through HR and to talk about the things that were happening to her during that time. And the guidance that she got was to launch her own investigation because that was the only thing that she could do. She had been silenced by Tom Patty's
And so
investigation.
this guidance for her came from HR,
Yeah,
which
it
was
was.
her federal right to do. She was within her rights to go to, because when we are experiencing workplace harassment, any type of bullying, anything that we believe is an injustice, we actually have the legal right and wherewithal, you guys, to go to our human resource department and speak to our HR people and let them know that we are experiencing something and they have to investigate it. By law, they must look into that. She did not do anything that was outside of her legal wherewithal, her legal right as a person, as a human being, male, woman, doesn't matter, to do.
100%. And that was the only recourse that she could take because she had been silenced by the investigation process. And I don't want to speak for her, but I know that lawyers will give you advice during this time to say, like, okay, well, if you quit, we can help you. Or if you suffer really significant physical or emotional damage and you can prove that, then we'll help you. We'll be able to give you some advice for what to do or how to sue the city or whatever. And I won't speak to what she did or the process that she went through, but I know that through her communications with the HR department at the county, they said, you know, your best bet is to launch your own investigation.
Okay.
And that's what she did a year ago. Tom Patty's investigation was open and shut within a couple of months. And we know now that there was nothing substantiated.
So out of all of the allegations that he brought, a third party legal organization or agency investigated, did a thorough investigation, detailed, regarding the allegations that were brought against her, the charges that were brought against her as a new staff employee, and they found nothing.
They found absolutely nothing.
They were all unfounded.
Right. And I have not seen that report. I cannot speak to that, but I will say from my own experiences, a subordinate speaking truth to power and him claiming that she is bullying and harassing him,
right,
and using that whole reverse racism kind of argument.
And you being new to your position, new to this, I mean, and so not new to your experience in how to do your job, new as a county employee, new as a county staff, 25 when she came in, right? 25 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when I say silence, I'm elaborating. I want to make sure that you guys are very clear on what it is that you're hearing. She had to cross every T and dot every I. For a year, she had no wiggle room to make not one mistake. I don't know if any of the other staffers have ever made a mistake. I'm sure they have, because people are human and subject to human error. But Camille Zapata had no room to make an error or to make a mistake. So she had to work in an environment where she was, which was hostile, where she was being investigated, where she was being treated harshly, under harsh conditions. She was being bullied, and she couldn't say anything. She couldn't rally any support. She couldn't do anything. And she couldn't make any human error or human mistake. Yeah. So she launches an investigation against, she says something to Human Resources, and they launch an investigation. And so, Jada, you wanna jump in?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's in true testament to the claims that that Camille has made. First of all, they've been substantiated, which is like a word that is really complicated, but all that means is Camille's telling the truth. She's speaking facts. And an entire attorney.
How many claims? How many claims?
She made 13 of them. Well, she made 20, right? 20. But 13 of them were found to be factual. So we're waiting to see what's going to happen with the rest of the 10, since 10 came.
She made 20 claims.
Exactly.
They investigated 20 claims. And out of the 20 claims,
13
13 of them. What'd you say, Tama?
13 were sustained.
13 were sustained. So 13 out of the 20 were substantiated, but 10 of them were covered, I want to say, under the board, the ethics,
10 allegations fell within the parameters of the code of ethics that are applicable to members of the Board of Supervisors.
Can we hang out there for just 1 second? Please help me understand. Please make it make sense to me.
This is where it gets really muddy. And I won't say that I'm an expert on this field, but I know that the ones that were brought today, the 3 substantiated claims that were brought to the board today were part of the county's harassment-free policy. And because it violated, they were substantiated and shown that it violated those county policies of being able to be safe in the workplace and not be harassed, and that whole issue of retaliation. Those 3 had to be brought publicly. The other 10 were technically not violations of that policy, but violations of the county code of ethics for which supervisors are held. But let's not forget that substantiated or not substantiated, there were so many things that she had to deal with that were real to her, and listen to women and believe them when they say that they are being harassed in a workplace, because it is so hard. It is so hard to stand up and speak truth to power. It is so hard to go into an HR person's office and to say, this is being done to me and I can't do anything about it. I can't do my work. I can't show up. I don't feel safe. Regardless of whether those things were substantiated or not, she felt it so intensely in her soul that she had to bring that to somebody else to ask for help, because there was nothing that she could do herself.
So she went to HR. HR let Mr. Patty know that she had gone to HR, and he still, within, what was it, 8 days?
8 days.
8 days.
It was 5 days.
5? I'm sorry.
It was 5 days. Sorry, but let's
5
not
days.
give him more days than he deserves. He had 5 days.
So 5 days. 5 days later, he starts to retaliate.
Yeah.
And so the 3 allegations that they discussed today in the board meeting, this is so convoluted, you guys, and so messy.
Yeah, the 3 that they talked about today were actually a violation of the ethics committee. If I'm not mistaken, it's the EEOC, right? And that is like big government. That's not like local. That's not state. That's federal.
This is federal. Yeah, these were federal.
Equal opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, he's literally violating federal policy, and still is sitting in this seat having a vote in his own, like in the like what? In his own.
I need to layer the people in, Jada. I need the people to be with us. And so we go to the county supervisor. No, baby. Oh no, you're right. I just need the people that weren't there to know. Yeah. So we go to support Camille, because today, first of all, Camille hasn't even seen the whole report, and he has. Oh, I mean, I'm triggered. Did we say trigger warning before we started? Did I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the part. This is where the triggers start coming even more. Yeah.
She hasn't even seen a report that he has seen, because he's on the board. All the board has full access to a report, an investigation, and the whole findings of the investigation. So they get the whole summary of all 20, the 7 that were unfounded, the 10 that were founded that aren't going to be talked about, and the 3 that we're going to talk about that fall under the county, the federal things that the county, was a breach. And so they get the whole report. Camille doesn't even get the whole report. Camille got a letter talking about the 3 things that they were going to address today. So one of the asks that we had was, can we have the whole report? Can the public, can the community, the people that voted for you all, can we have access to the full report that you just used our tax dollars to pay an attorney to investigate in order to see? Can we see the report?
Mm-hmm.
And it took them a year to do that investigation.
Exactly.
And they only released that board letter with just addressing like Thursday or Friday of last week, knowing that she was going to have to be there and give public testimony on Tuesday. And
I'm sorry. Wait, did you say she was going to have to give her own public testimony? While the person that has harassed her for a year sits in his seat of power, looking down from his podium like a
with
judge
with a vote on whether it goes forward or not.
With a vote, like literally
With
get to pick you.
Like, and that was a privilege. That was a privilege that she got to speak, because this has never happened before. That an elected board of supervisor had claims substantiated against him. So there was no roadmap for how this was done.
But there were other disciplinary actions. There were other things that have been addressed in regard to his voice and his use of power and his conduct when it comes to the time that he has served there. So this isn't something that is like unbeknownst to folks. This is just a slap on the wrist each time and just do better and change your behavior. Now you have a third party neutral entity that the county has hired.
Mm-hmm.
And use tax funding in order to do it. And you bring in your own darn attorney to have public comment. Let's talk about that.
Oh, Lord.
Let's talk about that.
No, it was so bad.
Tama, come on, because you could do this without using profane language.
But I want to.
I want to.
Of the attorney.
I want to. That's why I said just before my comments, the things that sends a chill down my spine each and every time is when you give a minister or an attorney a microphone and a time limit, because they're going to abuse both. And he did it casually.
Right, and got extra time.
And he was indulged by the chair because of his expertise, because of his resume, as though nobody in the community had expertise, as though nobody in the community's comments were of equal value or import or impact besides his. And he just sat in that.
Wait a minute. And he spoke to parts of the report that Camille
weren't even out.
You.
What are you doing? Why are you doing that? That's incomplete. Like, that is literally another violation that should be brought forward. Like, that's another thing that needs to be tacked onto this, because that's so inappropriate. Like,
points of order actually had to be called more than once.
Yeah,
because he was speaking outside the scope of what the agenda item was. He took us on the scenic route. Mm-hmm. He took us on the distraction route.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rather than to talk about the issues, because we spent a good amount of time rehashing whether or not Camille should have been hired at this pay grade or that pay grade, and that was not the issue before the body today.
No, those are such gaslighting tactics.
Exactly. The issue before the body today was the retaliation, the sustained, provable, substantiated, accumulated retaliation against Camille over the course of a year.
Right.
And when we talk about the fact that, okay, well, we're only going to deal with 3, it's not like those 10 aren't germane. It's not like those 10 aren't equally as important, and that he was not found to have committed those acts of intimidation and retaliation. They're just as viable. It's just we didn't talk about them. But because we didn't talk about them doesn't mean they didn't exist. Doesn't mean he didn't do them. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. Doesn't mean she didn't suffer through that.
Right. Exactly. But we are not allowed to talk about any of those 10 things. The attorney who got at least 5 minutes to speak of people who have not been part of the board of supervisors. Yeah, people who have not been part of a board of supervisors meeting. Public comment, we get 3 minutes if we're there in person. If you submit it online, you only get 250 words. But this man said, well, I'm the attorney, so I should get more time. After Tom Petty specifically said, I don't wish to make a statement, but his attorney was able to get like at least 5 minutes where there were multiple of us in the gallery going, hello.
It was so wild because it was like, this is not a court of law. Like, you're not here on behalf of Tom Petty. You're here on behalf of being a citizen making public comment.
We are here on behalf of Camille Zapata, who has had an investigation that has substantiated her claims. And now we are subject to sit here and listen to a paid attorney who is representing one of the county board of supervisors who the charges have been brought against and have been substantiated. Use public comment time in order to represent his client.
Yes. I feel like there's so much that's like just at a structural level that was disappointing and like there's something off. First of all, they weren't following Robert's rules. When people would make motions, there was no motion to amend the motion. No. How are you just making motion after motion? That's not Robert's rules, honey. Like you need to be on top of that. The other thing was, why is Supervisor Rickman talking about censorship when we're talking about censure? You don't even understand what the words are. Like, you're not even on a definitive level. Why do you have the jurisdiction to even talk about this issue? We have no idea what censor versus censure. Like, we shouldn't have gone on a freaking journey like that was so uncomfortable for him to be talking about First Amendment rights because he didn't want to, quote, censor Tom Petty. It's censure. C-E-N-S.
And so we're not going to be petty now.
No, but that's real. Like that's real because we spent so much time taking away from Camille's story for things that should have just been understood because they were in the report. If you didn't know what censure meant, you should have Googled that beforehand because now we're taking time away from Camille's actual story. We're not following Robert's rules. We're allowing Tom Petty to vote in something that pertains to him. There's like, why was there even allowed to be a 2-2 vote when the chair's vote in a tie vote should be double? Because there should never be a point where it's just deaded. Like, the issue should never be deaded. So there's so much structural issues on top of the structural issues that Camille is facing. The board itself is structured in a way that is so unproductive that it contributed to the issues at hand. Like, I'm not trying to be petty. I'm trying to like
no, but it's real. What you're saying is real.
This board needs a lot of restructuring.
Both words are in play. Censorship is what happened to Camille.
Yeah.
To be censured is a legal proceeding that a body can undertake to reprimand a colleague. It is an official legal proceeding saying, you were wrong, we were wrong, we caught you being wrong, and it's going to be on your record, basically.
Right.
Both of those comments, both of those words were in play today. And Natalie, I see you. It was absolutely a summation. It was not public commentary. It was a summation. It was a legal summation, more fit for a court of law than it was for a public proceeding.
There was something else that was being said, and I want to address it. There was something else that kept coming up over and over again. And so there were people coming up with these scripted things to say. And so now, what nonpartisan or partisan or what have you, Excuse me. So one of the things that I want to make sure that we are very crystal clear on, if we ain't clear on it nowhere else, we're going to be clear on it here. Before Tom Petty announced that he was going to be running for governor,
Congress.
Congress.
Oh,
God help us all. Jesus, forgive me, Lord. Remember, I'm on my personal time. Before he made the announcement that he was running for Congress, I didn't even know who Tom Petty was when Camille. I learned about Tom Petty as a community organizer. I didn't even know his name. I learned about Tom Petty when this stuff went down, when Camille was coming in to get hired. And I knew that he was the chair of the county board of supervisor. So I don't know if anybody else knew that he was running for another office, but at that point, who knew he was running for office and who the heck cared?
Not us.
This had nothing to do with somebody trying to attack and come against you in your attempt or your endeavors for future advancement when it comes to political platforms.
Exactly. And he stood there on the dais today and claimed that this was all some coordinated political operative, as if Camille was a puppet to some political party. Instead of validating her experiences, he chalked it all up to some big old political scheme when she filed that claim before he was even announcing that he was running. This was a year ago. A year ago. Nobody was announcing running for anything at that point in time. She would have loved to have had this done within 2 or 3 months and had all of this stuff closed. It's ridiculous to think that somehow she can control when this was released or any of this. It's just absolutely horrifying that was the narrative.
Well, it's deflecting.
It was fun today. Yes.
It was deflecting. It kept pushing things away from the true issue at hand. And the true issue at hand is that an investigation has been conducted that has clearly made it plain and evident that there has been workplace harassment. And at any point, and this the thing that was frustrating me to the core, literally, and I'm gonna have to talk about now our triggers. The thing that was frustrating me to the core of my soul, to my being, is the fact that it seemed like it's just okay. So now when you come into a space and you have to speak truth to power, and power has the ability to gaslight you, circumvent what you're saying, usurp authority, use all of the systems at play in order to silence you, to censor you, to put you into your place, to oppress you. And then you have to come in and you've got to speak now and stand up for yourself while power still sits in the seat looking at you, brings their attorney in, uses their platform to take away the truth that has been found against you, not own their shit. Not one time. And the whole time, all I got to do was sit there and watch this man in power try to turn it around like he was the victim.
Yep. 100%. It was gaslighting and misinformation and distraction and hearing I think the part that was hardest for me was hearing other supervisors and other public comment that was validating that whole process, was having other people say, well, she's wasting taxpayer money doing this, or this was all just politics, or any of this nonsense, talking just completely invalidating her claims.
So you know what? And for a second, I want to take it off of Camille. Y'all can all come off of mute on this one, because Tom already told them we was going to be over talking each other because it was a hot topic. It is not ever a waste of taxpayers' dollars to exercise your right to be heard and to be protected. I don't understand how come we live in a society that has systems in place that are supposed to protect our rights, But the people that sit in the seat of power misuse those systems so that our rights aren't protected. Where was Camille's rights protected today, you guys? I mean, I honestly, I need you guys to tell me, as a 53-year-old woman that doesn't fully understand all of this, you guys seem to be very knowledgeable. I was triggered as hell sitting in that space. I mean, like, I was having PSTD.
Speak on it. Speak on it. Because I think we all relate in one way or another.
Yeah.
Today, as a woman, I sat in a space where men used their power to oppress. And it triggered every trauma that I have ever experienced where a man has used his power to abuse me.
Mm-hmm.
I was so triggered in that space. Literally, I was freezing. I was trembling in my bones. I was not able to breathe. Tama had to come and sit next to me and hold my hand and squeeze it really hard. Because as a woman who has experienced a significant amount of abuse, physical and verbal, as a woman who has had to endure years of working in a hostile environment where I didn't have any room to make any mistakes because my accusers were constantly trying to prove that I was a villain and I was evil and I was something that I was not. All of it was triggered, you guys, today in this space. That wasn't my imagination.
No. No. A standout moment for me, I'm going to go a little bit left of topic for a hot second, but a standout moment for me in its irony, but also because it genuinely tickled the hell out of me. And I was telling my daughter about the moment, and I said, God give me the righteous indignation of a privileged and powerful white man being called out by a group of women, because there is no thinner skin than a privileged and powerful white man being called out about the abuse of his power and privilege by women, unless it is another white man having to watch. Because the one gentleman that got up because he just could not stand it, and he admitted it, I'm going to get derision, but I had to speak because my passions have been inflamed. Well, why, sir? What inflamed your passions so? Was it the parade of powerful, eloquent, righteous women speaking truth to power? Is that what got under your skin? Yes, it was. And I watched that parade, and I watched that exercise, that seminar, that master class in body language. The stance, the confrontation, the verbal, the facial tics, it was all right there. It was a silent TED talk in how to be dismissive without saying one single solitary word. And it was so apparent that even his commenter in support of him had to acknowledge it. And I looked at that, and I was looking back over my own history with gaslighters, with diminishers, with projectors, with deniers, and said, Dad, this is what it looks like. How do you say you are misogynist without saying you're misogynist?
And they don't even see it.
Oh, no, I'm going to push back on you. The same way we like to say the system is broken, except it's not. The system is functioning exactly as it was designed to.
No, you're right. They
There.
don't see a problem with it.
Now that part.
They don't see a problem with it because that's the way it's always been, right?
No,
that's
because the benefits accrue to them. And so they don't have a problem with the benefits accruing to them. What they have a problem with is being called out by people who see it. That's what set this whole thing in motion, was that Camille said, I see you and it's not right. And she wasn't clothed in the same body. She wasn't clothed in the same gender. She wasn't clothed in the same racial designation. She wasn't clothed in the same employment designation.
Mm-mm. And I want to lift something up. I want to address this now. And I did in my public comment. I addressed something in my public comment, and I'm going to address it now. This right here. I watched Supervisor Villapudua yawn 4 times. He was exhausted to the point of exhaustion. I thought that he was going to collapse from exhaustion when Camille was giving her public testimony. I mean, just like he was bored to tears. I watched every time someone got up in support of Supervisor Tom Patty. Where are my glasses at? He would go from texting on his phone to one of his supporters would come up. He would take his glasses off and lean back and listen.
Or lean forward and listen.
But when one of us, and at some point I was like, oh, no. What you gonna do? You gonna look up. You gonna see me. Because at some point it's like, are you kidding me? Every time someone got up that was not a supporter of his, he put his glasses on and began to go back on his phone or to doodle on or whatever. But he made it very evident, very, very evident in his body language and his posturing. Now, I have thoughts that I want to attach to that, but they're my opinions, and I want to be very careful. And I'm not being this careful because I'm not on workspace or what have you. I'm being this careful because I'm trying to exercise and operate in a level of humanity and integrity that I expect leadership to operate in. Whether I'm at work, on the clock, whether I'm elder, on the collar, it doesn't matter. I am a woman of integrity. And as a human being and a woman of integrity, I'm not going to use my words to belittle. What I am going to do is to use my words to state a fact. The fact is that your body language speaks 95% of communication, and your words only speak 5, sometimes 3, because vocal inflections and other things account for some of the body language and the tone and the mannerism. And when you use that posturing and you are a public figure, I don't know if there's a class that we can take in order to train how to pretend or do something, but when you cease to even want to exercise any type of a capacity to even fake it, that speaks volumes. Mm-hmm. You didn't even give us the dignity to even look up at us as we spoke in public comment, which means you don't represent me. Don't you look up at me in your dissertation and look me in my face telling me that you're willing to have a one-to-one doggone conversation with me, pay for my coffee and lunch. Don't you dare look at me and not give me the dignity to look at me in my face when I have the courage to come and stand at a podium and exercise my 3-minute time to speak and give public comment. How dare you? That's so disappointing. I am absolutely and utterly disappointed at the leadership. That display was absolutely disappointing. I'm fired up. You said breathe. Breathe again.
You know what was not disappointing though? That moment when Jada got up to the mic and said, oh, Jada, your comment was, it was,
Jada, come on.
You brought everybody back down to say, we're gonna come from love. And Tom Patty, I want to sit and have a moment with you and talk to you about how this is your growth moment. This is your opportunity to take accountability and shine and be better and grow. And he did not take that, but you elevated the conversation to say, this is what it's about right now. It's not about blame. It's about saying, let's fix this. Let's fix this right now. Be accountable.
We can be better.
Let's be better. Not gonna hate you. I'm gonna say, let me hold a moment with you and give you an opportunity to be better without anger in this space for a moment. And like the whole energy of the room came down.
Because Jada, when you said that we're going through the stages of grief. And that anger is one of the stages of grief. When you name that, it brought things to a whole nother level of understanding for me, that even because the people that were representing Tom were speaking from such a place of anger. They were so angry.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say that I think that every single one of us was in that room for Camille or for Tom. And I think that just the number one thing that just kept going through my brain as I was listening to every single one of them speak is like, they are in such denial of this. They literally cannot believe that this person that they idolize would do these things. And I genuinely believe that they genuinely believe that he did not do these things.
Yeah.
And it is an utmost presentation of denial that is so very obvious that we could teach a course on it. We could literally dissect this entire portion of the meeting and teach a course, that would have so many different elements to it. Bye, y'all. I'm here with young people right now. Y'all say bye.
Bye.
I was so hurt when he decided, not to take a moment to himself to think, maybe I can address this, take accountability, and seek Camille in this moment. Like maybe that's something that I can do. And when he just came back with all the words and all the letters and everything that was just discombobulated and had nothing to do with what was happening, zero accountability, no love, just no awareness whatsoever. I was so hurt because I'm like, you genuinely, to me, I always look at people as just being human. And a part of being human is not understanding things. Right. A part of being human is pushing through your mistakes so you can learn. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, when we transcend this place, when we transition, what are we taking with us to see our ancestors? Right. What are we taking with us when we enter the rest of the universe? What are we learning here if all we're trying to do is be stubborn and push our own agenda and continue to create blockades? You're in a elected position so that you can connect with people. And I think today, Patty really showed he doesn't have that capability. He doesn't have the ability to empathize. He doesn't have the ability to make genuine connections with people. He is there for his own platform and for his own visions of his own future. And I don't think that that's someone that I would want to have lunch with. So I decline your offer. No, thank you.
Wow. This was extremely disappointing today. This was disappointing today.
Not surprising.
No, not surprising.
Not surprising.
No, not surprising, which is also disappointing. I remember, and just so that we can wrap up, I remember the first time that, oh God, that I remember the first time I was able to bring some leaders in to meet with Miguel Villapudua as our county board supervisor, and I was so proud, you guys. I was so proud. I was so proud as a new organizer, that I was able to get this meeting scheduled. I was so proud, and my clergy and the and congregation members that were meeting, they were so proud, and they were proud of me. They were so excited, that they were going to be able to sit down with him and to meet with him. And today, what I don't feel is pride. I don't feel a sense of pride in my in those that are representing us. I don't feel that. I don't feel that sense of like, hey, you guys, we're gonna go and have a research meeting with our county board of supervisors. I want you to meet Supervisor Patty. I want you to meet, Supervisor Via Pudwa. I want you to meet these. I literally do not feel that sense of pride.
Yeah, I just want to name again that I think that's one of the early stages of grief as well. And I just feel like we're all in a moment right now where, like, the reality that we knew to be the American dream and American exceptionalism, and it is consistently shattering in front of us. Consistently.
Yeah. Oh
and
my God. Yeah.
I just think that we are all grieving this vision that we've been taught from the time that we was little kids. The things that our parents risked their entire lives to come here for. The things that our great ancestors broke their backs, lost their lives, lost their children to build. This entire vision is shattering in front of us, and it is.
Yeah. It's a lie. It's a lie. I'm watching it. It just seems like it's not real. And you sit in spaces like this, and then you look at the officers in uniform, and I found myself just looking around, comma, like wondering, who here really loves the people, who here really cares about us at all. What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
So this is the last thing I'm gonna say, and I can touch my anger because it's right there, but I'm not going to, because today I got to sit in a space with, how I always like to talk about, there are 4 generations here empowered to do the work.
Yeah.
And Bobby Bivens is my elder.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm your elder.
Yeah.
You're Amy's elder. And Amy is Jada's elder. And amongst our generations exists a power and a potential that did not exist in the previous 5 combinations of generations.
Yeah.
And we're all here, cognizant, intelligent, articulate, not taking no shit because we left all our F's in our last lifetime, and ready to do the work. This is a culmination. This is a combination that this planet hasn't seen before. And we need to be here right here in this moment, because we are at a tipping point. We are at critical mass. Things are crumbling. But if anybody is going to pull it together, it is going to be this combo of generations. And I saw that in action.
Yeah.
I saw everybody come up and have their moment in front of that wall of misogyny and misplaced and misused political power and all of its intransigence, and I'm not going to acknowledge you and I'm not going to accommodate you. And we looked at that wall and like, okay, here's the thing about walls. Those things are brittle. This particular wall that we are facing in this moment of time is brittle.
Yeah.
It's at its most dangerous because it is crumbling.
Yeah.
But it's in the crumbling. We can accelerate that. That's the thing that gives me hope, Jada. There are things that are crumbling, but there are things that need to crumble. And we're the ones that are going to have to make sure that it does.
Yeah.
This is system's last stand. This is misogyny's last stand. We're going to take some hits. But here's the thing. In the end, we win. Yeah. Is it going to cost us? Yes. Are some of us not going to make it to the end and see the finish line? Yes. In the end, we win. Because you're at that microphone. Tony's at that microphone. Yeah. I'm at that microphone. Amy's at that microphone.
Yeah.
And Camille Zapata is the catalyst for us all coming together. In this instance,
yes,
there are connections made and formed, and you're going to see this kind of confluence of power and intent. You're going to see it again and again and again until all them damn systems fall.
Oh my God.
I can't be discouraged because I'm looking at three faces. I know, oh, wait a minute. If I need to, I know how to get in touch with Jada. Don't make me call Tony. You know I got it. Right.
I was like, man, if we got to shut down a freeway, what we got to do?
I got to do that. And people, and we got soldiers like Natalie in the audience. Come on.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We have a very unique work we have to do.
Yes.
It ain't like anybody else's.
We have the brilliance of the Amy.
There was an army of people that showed up today, either in person or through the online portal.
Yes.
And you know, that speaks to the character of Camille and the work that she's done as a community leader. But that also speaks to people seeing this is not okay.
Yeah.
We can't keep doing this, and we can't keep. Nobody thought anything real was going to happen. No, everybody knew nothing was going to happen to Tom Petty, but that wasn't the point. The point was that women need to be heard.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
In Stockton, California.
Yeah, when this is happening, and the systems that are supposed to protect us are not protecting us, and there are loopholes so that the people in power can just get around that and silence women. It's not okay. It's not okay. And enough people stood up, and you're right, today was a catalyst for people saying, we can't keep let this happen. We can't keep letting this happen.
I am encouraged. I am encouraged, and I appreciate you guys. I appreciate I really, really do, you guys. I mean, I just I know that, you know, we all rallied together for Camille. I wanted to take a moment and I want to give a salute to Supervisor Kathy Miller. Yeah.
Ooh, you did right by our girl today, Kathy. Thank you.
Yeah. Kathy was really out there taking bullet after bullet after bullet after bullet. I was like, she is gangster.
She is a straight G. She's a triple. So
Kathy,
at that part, I don't know. I don't know if one day I'll ever be able to tell you how much profound respect that I have for you as a woman, as a senior woman, as a seasoned woman, And I'm giving you triple OG status. You got stripes on the concrete today. You got stripes on the concrete this year. You have led us this year in such excellence. Um, just stellar. And so I feel like you're going out, leaving such a profound legacy, being a woman on a platform with men that have not respected you openly, have not esteemed you. You've taken hits to your being, to your psyche, to your soul. And we just want to give you your flowers today. Supervisor Miller, thank you for being an example to women and to men on how to sit in the seat and operate from a place of integrity and leadership. And thank you for standing up for Camille.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
So,
I just real quick, I want to give flowers to Elder Tony because there was a moment, where some things were relived, and the courage and the gumption to sit in it for Camille and for women as a whole was just, I'm so happy that I experienced that with you. Like, as a young woman who's super passionate about politics, who like loves organizing, like seeing you in those moments, because it's not easy doing this work, let alone doing this work after what we've been through in our lives. So for you to sit in it and to use it as empowerment inspires me and my anxious self. So I'm so thankful for sharing space with you today. And, of course, always to Mama T and to Amy, the way that y'all advocated for my sis today was just, it just touched my whole soul. Like, it's been so hard today, but, sharing space with y'all and Camille, and having homie Davis out there. Okay, Davis coming through. Nate out there. Everybody who came through to challenge these parts of themselves that, some of these supervisors should have challenged themselves. It's just amazing. So I'm so thankful that I got to share the space with you all, and thank you, Elder Tony, for having me today as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was so proud of you in the way that you articulated yourself, and you spoke from such a place of love and wisdom and integrity. It really did ground us. It grounded me. I need you to know that you brought me from a place of sheer trauma. I mean, it was like you opened your mouth, and I knew that it was like God was like, just Camille. We move today in love. We are proud of you. I am Camille. I am Camille.
Camille.
I am Camille.
I am for sure Camille.
Yeah. So take care of yourself and do what you need to do. And yeah, we are not going to stop. I won't give up. Brewster's Place. Yeah, Brewster's Place. We're going to take down this wall one brick at a time.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it. So, all right, y'all. Thank you so much for tapping in this evening and just, allowing us to debrief. And for those of you that have connected with us, for sure, share, let others be able to see from a woman's perspective, from these women's perspective. This is what we experienced in that space today. And we are so proud of all of you guys for stepping up and for using your voice. And we need more of you to step up and use your voice. Use your voice, use your common sense.
Yeah.
All right. We love y'all. Peace and blessings.
Thank you.